Seeking God at dawn, the power of midnight prayer. There is something sacred about the stillness of the night. When the world sleeps and everything is quiet, a divine opportunity arises, a moment to draw closer to God, to seek His presence, and to surrender at His feet. The Bible speaks often of those who prayed in the early hours, those who humbled themselves before the Lord, and those who experienced His mighty power through prayer. The power of praying at midnight throughout Scripture, we see powerful moments happening in the darkest hours. One of the most well-known passages is found in Acts 16:25-26. About midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God, and the other prisoners were listening to them. Suddenly there was such a violent earthquake that the foundations of the prison were shaken. At once all the prison doors flew open, and everyone's chains came loose. Paul and Silas were in prison, bound and beaten. The situation seemed hopeless. Yet instead of sleeping or complaining, they prayed and worshiped God. Their prayer in the darkness brought divine intervention. Chains were broken, doors were opened, and freedom came in a supernatural way. This is a powerful reminder that prayer at midnight, when the world is silent, when the distractions are gone, has the ability to shift circumstances and bring miracles. Kneeling before God, a posture of humility. Praying on our knees is more than just a physical posture. It is a spiritual act of surrender. It represents humility, dependence, and reverence for the Almighty. The Bible reminds us, "Come, let us bow down in worship. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker." Psalm 95:6. Jesus himself, in his greatest moment of anguish, knelt in prayer at the Garden of Gethsemane. Luke 22:41-42 says, "He withdrew about a stone's throw beyond them, knelt down and prayed, 'Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me, yet not my will, but yours be done.'" If the Son of God, in his most critical hour, humbled himself in prayer, how much more should we? Kneeling in prayer is an act of faith, acknowledging that we do not have all the answers, but God does. It is a position of seeking His guidance, His peace, and His power over our lives. Why seek God in the early hours? Many powerful men and women of God throughout history have sought Him in the early hours of the morning. Mark 1:35 tells us about Jesus' habit of prayer. Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where He prayed. If Jesus, the Son of God, made it a priority to rise early and seek the Father, shouldn't we? The early hours are significant because it is a time of quietness. The distractions of the day are not yet present. The noise of life is silent, making it easier to hear God's voice. It is a time of spiritual strength. Seeking God first sets the tone for the entire day. It fills us with His peace and guidance. It is a time of divine encounters. Many biblical figures encountered God in the early hours, receiving visions, instructions, and supernatural strength. The blessing of persistent prayer. Prayer is not always about immediate answers. It is about persistence and faith. The Bible teaches us in Luke 18:1, "Then Jesus told His disciples a parable to show them that they should always pray and not give up." When we seek God persistently, especially in the quiet, unseen hours, He moves in ways we cannot imagine. Some prayers may take days, months, or even years, but God's timing is always perfect. The story of Jacob wrestling with God in Genesis 32:26 is a perfect example of this persistence. Jacob said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." This determination led to a life-changing encounter with God. What if we had the same mindset? What if in our midnight prayers, we refused to let go until God blessed us, until He answered, until He moved in our circumstances? A call to seek God on your knees tonight as the world sleeps. Take a moment to kneel before God. Lay your burdens before Him, cry out in worship, and trust that He hears you. Your midnight prayers are not in vain. Your tears, your faith, and your surrender are seen by the One who never sleeps nor slumbers. As you pray, remember, God sees your heart. God hears your cries. God is working even when you don't see it. Let your knees touch the ground and let your faith rise to the heavens. The breakthrough you seek may just be one midnight prayer away.